Next question, immigration. Can you explain the immigration-related executive orders?
Yeah, I think really this boils down to a couple things, right? In our country, we don't have a coherent national immigration policy that meets the challenges of today. But what we do have is we have immigration where people get in line, right? We do have refugees. These are countries across the world that are our allies or are in severe distress, and we bring people in to help them with that. Think of what's going on with Afghanistan. When we withdrew, all those folks that were there for years that were helping us against the Taliban, all of a sudden they're being hunted by the Taliban. So we need to help those people. Ukraine, think of Sudan, think of Bhutan, think of Cambodia, a lot of these countries, historically Vietnam, right? We're a welcoming refugee resettlement community. Then you have what's happening now today at the border. And that's the migration issue, right? And these are folks that are in a different category. And so what we have here is a situation where people are getting across the southern border more than they ever have been. You have states that are then essentially giving a ride to these individuals to New York City. New York City has received a lot of funding for this issue from the state government, the federal government, but it's putting a strain on their infrastructure. So New York City, without really communicating with other counties, started to try to move some of these migrant individuals to other communities. Here's the challenge, Ken. I can't speak for every community, but I can speak for ours. We have challenges right now related to housing and affordability. We're obviously looking at an economic downturn right now, with all the national signs pointing to probably a small recession later this year or early next year. We have our own homeless population that we're working through, right? And we have to provide shelter for. Then we have the proud reality that we have 1,900 refugees, the largest in the last really 3 or 4 years, that we're welcoming into our community. So you can't just say, we're going to bring a refugee into the community without providing them the supports so that they can be successful. Housing, food, ESL services, getting the children assimilated into schools, getting the work papers for the adults, so that then finding job opportunities for the adults, right? And the supportive services with that. That's a community-based effort. So when you look at my job is to manage these issues from a county-wide standpoint. We have our own residents that we have to always prepare for worst-case scenarios. We have commitments we've made to all of these partners with the United Nations that we aren't quite ready for yet. And then when it comes to a migrant right now, many of these migrants are from Nicaragua, Haiti, Venezuela. If these migrants come directly into Onondaga County, then we have to provide them with the supportive services, just like ones that go directly into New York City. So we have to reserve certain capacity for that. So what we can't have happen when we're working on all these things and we're trying to figure out, do we have capacity? And if we do, we can then dictate terms that we can be helpful with, is have another government contracting and taking up some of this capacity that we have. And so when we learned New York City was trying to do that to us, what I did is I filed an emergency order, which is not a migrant ban. It's very simple. It says New York City cannot contract with our hotels or resettlement services without a license from Onondaga County. And New York City understands this. We've talked to them, and they understood that they could have gone forward with a license, but it may not have been the result that they wanted to hear. Because the reality is right now, until we have the infrastructure for these refugee families, I'm not comfortable saying to any other government, yes, we will take more folks if I have nowhere to house them. And we saw what happened quickly when you don't have that emergency order. When New York City contracted with a hotel owner out of New York City who owns the Candlewood Suites in the town of Salina. They contracted with this individual. He then took residents that were living in that hotel and kicked them out, creating more homeless with county residents, right? So that's why I need to manage this, right? That's why county government, when we paid the bill for those who come into our community that need our services, we need to manage this. And that's what the order did. And a judge, we went to court to uphold the order. when New York City was trying to contract with agencies. A judge favored us for the first round and gave us a stay. And that gives us time to really look at what our capacity is. And if we have capacity, sure, we'll see how we can play a role in the larger migrant crisis. But we can't have another government, specifically another local government, dictating terms to us. It's illegal for a government to drop off anyone on assistance to another government. You need to pay for that individual. And New York City was only offering to pay for services for 4 months. These are